Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impact to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at the stories. First, River State. NUJ slams lawmaker over threats to journalists. And then on to Kwara State. Parties sign peace accord ahead of local government polls. And on Labour Party, Nanedi emerges interim chairman, Abure kicks. On fuel hike, PDP slams federal government, decries government indifference. And on minimum wage, Tinubu never betrayed Nigerian Labour Congress, Presidency slams Ajeru. And on 2027, Obi appoints Tanko Obedient Movement Interim Coordinator. We are open for advert placements, bookings and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. And on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
As always said, there are two sides of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
how high the obstacles.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To contain this act, I thought that we get the lead of this minister and the government.
Give us access to our money in charge.
As always said, there are two sides of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
what Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To contain this act, I thought that we get the lead of this minister and the government.
Give us access to our money in charge.
As always said, there are two sides of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
what Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To contain this act, I thought that we get the lead of this minister and the government.
Give us access to our money in charge.
As always said, there are two sides of people, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
what Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains. Here, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, social economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN. From life across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on pop news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentary. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. On ATN.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I call for critical release of this minister and development.
I've always said there are two sides.
Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN. From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I call for immediate release of this minister and the cabinet
The people of access to our money
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Jackson Lekon Ujo, a political analyst. Good morning, Jackson, and welcome to Open Conversation.
It's my pleasure.
And
Yeah, once again.
thank you. And you look, by the way.
Thank you. Just like you.
Thank you. And also joining me on Open Conversation is Dr. Nelson V.C. Okene. Dr. Nelson is a lecturer with the Department of Political Science, University of Port Harcourt. Good morning, Dr. Nelson, and welcome to Open Conversation.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
And you're looking good as well.
Thank you.
And on to the story. Press release on the 3rd of September 2024 by Nigerian Union of Journalists. NUJ condemns attack on South-South. NUJ condemns attack on South-South Voice publisher. The Nigerian Union of Journalists, Rivers State Council, has condemned an alleged verbal attack on his member and the publisher of the South-South Voice newspaper, Mike Chiboso Iwezo, by a member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Blessing Amadi. Honorable Amadi, who represents Port Harcourt Federal Constituency 2 in the Green Chambers of the National Assembly, was alleged to have verbally assaulted Mr. Iwezo in a telephone conversation and threatened to deal with him in a manner he will not like. The union, in a statement signed by its chairman, Joe Stanley, and secretary, Ike Wigodo, respectively, described the alleged verbal attack on Mr. Iwezo as an abuse of political office and unwarranted intimidation by Honorable Amadi to prevent Mr. Iwezo from carrying out his constitutional obligation to inform and educate the public. The South-South Voice newspaper had reported in its last edition with the headline, "Fagarians Reject Poor Representation," that the two members of the House of Representatives representing Port Harcourt constituencies, Honorable Blessing Amade and Honorable Manu Chimso Umezurike, had failed in their duties to speak for their people or sponsor bills that will benefit their constituencies. Rather than debunking the reports and set the record straight in a civilized manner required of an honorable member, Honorable Blessing Amade allegedly resorted to verbal attack on Mr. Chiboso Iwezo and also threatened his life. The union frowned at this dishonorable attitude by Honorable Blessing Amade and called on security agencies to investigate the verbal attack on Mr. Iwezo. Honorable Blessing Amade should know that she is holding political office and that she is accountable to the people of her constituency and state. We want to educate Honorable Blessing Amadi that verbal attacks and threats to lives of journalists who criticize her will not save her but will rather worsen the situation. The publisher of the South-South Voice newspaper merely reminded Honorable Blessing Amadi of her duties to her constituency and the need to buckle up. If Honorable Blessing Amadi found the South-South Voice newspaper's reports to be false, she has the right of reply and rebuttal, and not to resort to attack of the newspaper's publisher. We therefore condemn in very strong terms the alleged verbal attack on our member and warn politicians against unwarranted intimidation and harassment of journalists in the state. Signed, Joe Stanley, Chairman, Nigerian Union of Journalists, Rivers State Council. Ike Wigodo, Secretary, NUJ, Rivers State Council. Let me start with you, Jackson. What is your take on the story?
I think I blame it all on the constituent.
Okay.
And I doubt if they profile Honorable Blessing Amadi very well before she was voted to that office. Because a lot of persons, they do not know that when they vote you in to be member of State House of Assembly or House of Rep or Senate. A lot of them do not know that they are just a proxy representing the people. They believe that is their office. That is not their office. It is the office of the people. That you are just representing them as a proxy, standing in for them. And if you are sleeping in the House of Reps, that means your constituency is sleeping. If you are a dumb member, that means your constituency is dumb. If you are misbehaving, that means your constituency is misbehaving. And the onus lies on the people to quickly call you to order. And people need to really ask you, what have you done? Some members of House of Reps will be maybe presenting bill for. Some are just numbers. They just say either say yeah or nay. Is that what the constituency send you to go and do? And then somebody call you from that same constituency, a journalist that has the right, even a journalist from Ghana has the right to ask you, what have you been doing for your people? How have you been representing? I think this particular person is from that same federal constituency. And instead of you, if you feel bad about it, I think you can always present yourself in a television station, radio, or newspaper, or any other platforms to respond and to educate people. Look at what I've been doing. Look at what I've not been able to do. Look at the reason why I've not been able to do this. But by lambasting, honestly, and even threatening the life, I think is out of what? It's out of normalcy. It's an abnormal. You understand? And if the people still live out there, it depends on them. But I think with this one, the journalists across the country, they could allow her to be whatever, anything that had to do with that public again. That is one. Two, the people of the federal constituency have the right to begin to remove him, to recall him, to recall her, I mean. You understand? But maybe after now, maybe we tender apology to the people of the constituency or the journalists and the union of journalists as a whole. Let us be watching.
All right. When you made mention of the journalists in this instance bringing up issues concerning her. Now, to a large extent, isn't that what she wants in the first place? When she is actually attacking the journalist because the journalist questioned her duties as a representative of the people in the House of Representatives. So if the journalist let her be, hasn't she won? Because says she's no longer in the radar of the people. At what point did it become wrong? At what point did it become offensive for journalists to ask questions, for journalists to investigate what is going on in the society, particularly when a House of Rep member, in this instance, representing the people, according to the journalist, is doing nothing in the House, and yet collecting payments, collecting constituency projects, and we should let her be because apparently she's not comfortable being called out for not doing anything in the House.
The process of recall starts from there. Because if you decide to be out of circulation, that means you are not doing anything well. If you are doing the thing very well, definitely you want the whole world to know what you are doing. So in a situation whereby she is now fighting the journalist, is another way of telling them that I don't want you to publicize anything that has to do with. And by the time you are doing that, that is to say you know that you are not really doing anything worthy of publications. Right. And the people of that constituency have the right. That is the only way to bring a person out of the Senate, out of assembly, or exactly. They could start recall process. Right. Those people that voted have the right to write to INEC that they want to recall her. It is possible.
All right.
It is doable.
All right.
Yes.
What is your take on this story, Dr. Nelson?
Okay, without recalling or repeating what he has said already, this is a democracy. And whoever aspires to public office must be willing and ready to be criticized.
Yes.
Your life is practically in the public domain.
Yes.
And by the nature of democracy and the expectations, it means that even your private life can be exposed, can be discussed. You have no more privacy once you aspire to public office.
Exactly, sir.
And if you are not ready for that level of scrutiny, even for your own private life, then you don't aspire to public office. The other thing to add is that threat to life is a very serious matter anytime, any day, even among private citizens. So the police should get involved and investigate this matter, because it is when we do nothing about things like this, when things get out of hand, we start running and trying to do catch-up.
Yes.
Again, it's important to note that both the constituency and the party have responsibilities in ensuring credible representation. The parties have a role to play in monitoring their representatives that are elected on their platform, helping them to sell agenda. And then the constituency also, there's one of the members of House of Reps from the East, that very active, one of those vibrant lawmakers. But this constituency say, look, you're doing well, but you are ignoring us here. We sent you there to represent us. We did not send you to go and solve all Nigeria's problems. So please pay attention to our constituency. Yes. Otherwise, we begin to a process to recall you. Yes, Ugochinyere.
All right.
Otherwise, we start. Those are the kind of things that should keep lawmakers on their toe, so that they know they have responsibility and they know people are watching. But any form of threat to life is a serious matter.
Now,
that is completely highly condemned. It's not acceptable.
In recent times, Dr. Nelson,
yes,
you would agree with me that the attack on journalists, particularly in this administration, it's alarming and it's concerning. Now, with what is playing out, the truth remains that if journalists should stop doing their job, Nigeria is in trouble as it is. Nigeria is in trouble if journalists are successfully gagged. If journalists are attacked and imprisoned and harassed and intimidated to a point that they are unable to do investigative journalism, they are unable to call out the ills in the society, they are unable to put people on their toes, then what's the point of democracy? What's the point of democracy? Now, you look at it critically. A House of Rep member is being called out for not doing anything in the House of Reps. Should we talk about the salaries being collected by these people? Now, you collect humongous amounts of money in salaries and in allowances and in constituency projects, and at the end of the day, it does not trickle down. The representation of your people is not recorded. And even the constituency projects, as it were, does not trickle down to your constituencies. And a journalist comes up to investigate and call you out on it. The right thing to do, is it not to, probably if you feel that information
publish
was
your
wrong,
records.
You clarify. You can go to media houses, you can engage the same journalists as well.
Yes,
you can engage the same journalists and have your own say and defend yourself and clarify issues. But coming out to outrightly, attack a journalist and even threaten his life, for me, is the brazenness, is the audaciousness of some of our politicians. And Dr. Nelson, you are a lecturer of political science. Ideally, how should this be?
Well, part of the tenets of democracy is that we are a law-governed society. At least that is the ultimate aspiration. We are guided by the Constitution. And even when you are a lawmaker, you are a president, you are still to operate within the ambits of the law. Threat to life is a serious matter and should be investigated. And anybody found culpable should be held to account. Now, coming from a lawmaker that is representing the people is another very serious matter.
Yes.
And like this issue you raised about threat to journalists and all that, is something that is being in the press for some time. I was reading Aisha Yesufu the other time, recounting cases that investigative journalism is being harassed, journalists are being harassed and all that. And each time you see this kind of trends, it is something that points to a very negative thing in the society that we should not encourage at all. It points to the fact that civilian administrators or administration that is supposed to be democratically inclined is moving towards dictatorship. Because the moment you begin to be aggressive towards people erring and rejecting contrary opinion and dissent, then you want to stifle opinion. You want to rule at your own whims and all that. And that is not the way to go for democracy. Even under military regimes, the press have a right and a place to operate, because citizens need the information, they need to be educated, and their role as the fifth estate of the realm is guaranteed under the Constitution. It's indispensable, and that should not happen.
Right. Jackson, you have something
No,
to
yeah,
say?
concerning the threat to life, I think there's a slogan within the labor era that injury to one is
Injury to all.
I think the Nigeria Union of Journalists in Rivers State, I think they should inform their national secretariat to join
And escalate it.
and escalate this thing. They should write to the DSS, they should write to the IG, they should even write to Mr. President, and they should write to even the Speaker of the House of Representatives to report, because it's a shameful thing that a lawmaker now become
The breaker of the law.
the breaker of the law. It's a shameful thing, not just on that federal constituency, but across the country. Because before you know what is happening, international community will be hearing this. That a lawmaker in Nigeria threatened your son.
Yes.
You know, I think they should take it off from there.
And interestingly,
They should make her to regret their action.
And interestingly, you know, if the House of Representatives do not actually come out to condemn this action, it means by their silence that they are condoning the action of Honorable Blessing Amade, and by extension, that gives a representation of the National Assembly, because people will now think that, okay, this stories going on, you know, right now in social media, in the news of journalist harassment, intimidation of journalists and all of that. It's true. And if a House of Rep member could do this and goes unscathed, it means that the National Assembly is condoning such actions.
No. There is a difference between ASA and official report.
Okay.
That is why I said the Nigerian Union of Journalists
should make an official report.
Should make an official report to the leadership of the House of Representatives, even to the chairman of the National Assembly, so that they should know that one of them, this is the way he is, this is the way she is acting. Because only that one, they say when one finger is stained with oil, it will, you understand?
Yes.
At the end of the day, people overseas will report. I'm a member of so many security associations across the globe.
Okay.
People overseas will call now. Is that the way your lawmaker behaves in the country? Because the behavior of only one person is what those people will use to judge everybody. So these people will make it official to the National Assembly, chairman of the National Assembly, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. They should report. And the DSS, the police, and others to intervene. But if, according to you now, if they allow this thing to die down like that, next time she won't call. She will bring out to come and be killing people.
Because the union let the slide without any
exactly, because some of them believe that immediately they get there, they are above everybody.
Okay.
That is it. But they should not take it lightly with her.
All right.
That is it.
All right. Moving forward on to Labour Party. National Chairman of the Labour Party, Comrade Julius Abure, has missed the appointment of former Finance Minister Nanedi Usman as interim chairlady to run the party affairs for a 90-day period. The decision to appoint Usman was taken at an extended stakeholders meeting convened by the party's only governor, Alex Oti of Abia State, and the party's presidential candidate in the 2023 general elections, Mr. Peter Obi, yesterday. Abure, who spoke through the National Publicity Secretary, Obiora Ifo, described the appointment as illegal, unconstitutional, and an enterprise in futility because the outcome of a validly conducted national convention held in Nnewi earlier this year still exists. He said this in response to a statement signed by Mr. Obi's spokesperson, Dr. Tanko Yunusa, in which he announced Usman's appointment. Yunusa had in his statement said, "The presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections, Peter Obi, and other critical stakeholders led by Governor Alex Oti of Abia State on Wednesday took a bold step towards recreating their political platform, the Labour Party, in a move aimed at ending the crisis in the party since the controversial national convention held hotel room in Nnewi, Anambra State, by the Julius Abure-led National Working Committee, the sole Labour Party governor of Abia State, and the national leader of the party, Obi, decided to take the bull by the horns by summoning an enlarged National Executive Committee of the party in Umuahia, where a far-reaching decision was made to give direction to the party. After exhaustive deliberations on how to move the party forward, former Minister of Finance, Senator Nenadi Usman, was nominated to head an interim National Working Committee with a 90-day mandate to organize congresses at all levels of the party, including a national convention to elect substantive officers of the party. Senator Usman will be assisted in the 29-member transition committee by former Senate Minority Leader, Senator Darlington Wokocha, who will act as secretary. The well-attended meeting also had the presidential running mate to Obi, Dr. Dati Baba Ahmad, Deputy Governor of Abia State, and all elected legislators under Labour at the national and state levels, as well as gubernatorial candidates of the party in the 2023 polls. Dr. Nelson, what is your take on this development in Labour Party?
Well, we looked at this matter, I think, last week Thursday or so, and we appreciated the extent of the reach of the invitation for this meeting, to the extent that it appeared almost like a shadow convention, given the breadth of the invitation. And we were also expecting that the party will come up with some credible decisions that will help put the Labour Party together. Because Nigerians are looking up to that party, believing that that party can put itself together to constitute a kind of, is it second or third force? Because most of the time I tend to look at APC and PDP as two sides of the same coin. So Labour Party is expected to rise to a prominent place of opposition, at least under this administration. And every thing that needs to be done to put the party in order for me is welcome. And now coming out with this kind of outcome and decision after discussion, I think is a positive thing. Now the regrettable thing is that for somebody at the height of leadership like Abure, if he had credible things to say, and if he actually had credible leadership and following in the party, why was he afraid to show up there and have his own part stated? And I feel that he should not put himself in a position where it appears as if he's feeling that he's bigger than the entire party. Or where people begin to accuse him of becoming a stooge sent to destabilize the Labour Party. Because I don't see reason why he should not participate. The caretaker committee have been given a period to serve for 90 days. Is that? And to conduct congresses from the wards up. So if he is in charge, let him and those that he is leading participate. He can still win back the leadership. Otherwise, he will get to a place where the party will find a way to silence him, and he will become history. He cannot be bigger than Labour, especially Labour Party, especially with the kind of hopes and aspirations Nigerians are anchoring on that party. Nigerians are interested, and we are watching.
Okay. Jackson, what is your take?
You see, when a child is standing to attack the father, the mother, the senior sibling, the cousin and uncle, be very sure that somebody is behind.
Beating drums for
Exactly.
the child.
What happened yesterday, I don't really have much interest in
Labour Party.
Labour Party. Either the PDP, I was a chieftain of PDP, APC, but I removed myself. I'm not, as I'm standing here today, I'm not a member of
Interesting,
APC.
you did tell me. I was not aware of that because last time I checked, you were a chieftain.
No, I'm not a chieftain. I'm not a member of any political party now.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
you understand? But I'm looking towards somewhere. And when you...
You're looking towards somewhere.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm looking, yeah.
You're looking towards somewhere.
So when you
You
look at...
must be chieftain over something.
Yes, so when I saw the creme de la creme in the society, the community of the Labour Party gathered yesterday, honestly, I expected Abure to be there. Because Abure is not better than any of those people. In a situation whereby Peter Obi himself is dead, Dati is there, Nena de Usman is there, senators, former
Guba candidates.
others, even this guy from Lagos, all of them were there.
Badebo Roots.
Yes, all of them were there yesterday. To me, I believe that was a congregation whereby Abure would have attended, and this matter could be settled off camera.
Yes.
You understand? And for Abure to be standing alone, believing that he can do something to those people that gathered there yesterday, that means somebody is deceiving him somewhere. And I want to tell you clearly that it may not be out of pecuniary reasons. Maybe a contract has been awarded to him, or some brown envelope has been given, but all those ones at the end of the day will not be anything meaningful when the name is no longer there. A lot of allegations have been raised against him. The Labour themselves have fought against him, and I believe it was an ample opportunity for the matter to be resolved, for him to be seen as a gentleman and as a leader. But for him to refuse to be there and see ranting somewhere that he is somebody, at the end of the day, these people will neutralize him. He will be alive, but in the political record,
He will be dead.
he will be dead. You understand? And possibly at the end of the day, because to me, I see, just like doctor said, to me today, the reason why I say I'm leaving APC and I'm not going to be part of PDP is that I don't know the difference between APC and PDP. In Nigeria, in Rivers State today, APC and PDP, they are under the same umbrella of a leader. You understand? I can mention a lot of persons. The Senate President today is a member of APC, was commissioner in PDP, was governor in PDP, was senator in PDP. So a lot of them. So there is no difference between them. If there is heat in Lagos, you rush to Abuja. If it's raining too much in Abuja, you go back to Lagos. That's why these people are crisscrossing. You understand? So no ideology, nothing. So but we are seeing laborers, maybe now that could accommodate. After all, my father is there in labor, my mother is there in labor, and I'm there too. That is Papa, Mama and Pikin. That's my father, my mother, and myself. We are there. You understand? So we won't don't look at somebody like Abure. So it is honorable for him now to quickly go and reconcile. But to think that he can collect money from somewhere at the end of the day, where is Abapa now? The man that they were dragging, that even wanted to go to Supreme Court to withdraw the case against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, here and there, where is he now? He has since been silenced. So Abure will soon be silenced too.
Now,
because when you employ somebody to go and call another person's wife. When it is time for you to travel, you won't allow that person to near your house. So if somebody is using you as a tool to destroy things, a time is coming. That same person will say he is a bad person now. Because if what they can use you to achieve is if the only value attached to you is nuisance values, you are nobody. Abure should be very careful.
No, Jackson, you have actually, to a large extent, laid allegation on Abure of actually
very tactical.
Yes, of actually working against his own party that he's the national chairman of. And you are also accusing him of being compromised by vested interests.
Yes.
That's your what?
I'm not running away from that.
All right. Now, let's look at Abure's position. Abure is of the opinion, or his position is that Governor Alex Otti does not have the locus to call a NEC meeting. Now, in response, Governor Alex now quickly changed the name from NEC meeting to enlarged stakeholders meeting. Now, Abure is saying that they do not have the right to call for that meeting. You were once an APC chieftain. How does it apply? Can a party leader at probably the state level call an enlarged stakeholders meeting without the consent of the elected executives at the national level?
Who do you think should call? Okay, before I answer that one, Abure leadership, as of today, you understand, is still an issue of controversy. So nobody is even taking Abure as anything meaningful or serious now. So, and when all accusing fingers are going towards one person, do you want to take that person? You understand? When the best is not available, you make available the best. Abure is not leading the party very well, then the leadership. And in Nigeria today, most of our parties, they say the highest elected officer of the party is the leader of the party. The highest elected officer of Labour Party today is the governor. And he has the right. And among Abure's executive, are you telling me all of them are still with him? You understand? So Abure is just is a light featherweight politician, and he's overrating himself. So
your confidence that this decision by the Labour Party stakeholders and large stakeholders meeting will stand is when you look at the bigwigs that attended that stakeholders meeting, not forgetting that 3 representatives from the Nigerian Labour Congress and 3 representatives from TUC,
yes,
they were also present.
Then whom do you want again? Whom do you expect again? Abure is ordinary is lesser than being infinitesimal. Oh, wow. When you do the calculation of a national leader of a party that do not have electoral values.
All right. You wanted to say something, Dr. Nelson.
I was just laughing at the adjective he was using to qualify Abure. But the thing really is that when a party or any organization is in crisis, and at that point when there is a high-level dissent, official organs of that party organization are somewhat delegitimized because they no longer have the authority or the following or the commanding of the people to act in the capacity they were supposed to act. And it becomes a season of expediency is thrown up. So in the presence of Christ, it's like saying that if there is a state of emergency, you're saying, why did the sole administrator take a decision without calling the executive council meeting when there is a state of emergency? So the crisis demands that something extra be done. Yes. And by the way, I always insist that the Constitution and the laws are made for the people, not the people for the laws. So the people have the capacity to amend the laws when it's no longer serving their need, or to alter certain things, so long as they are acting in concert. He is clearly acting outside the group, and the range of the invitees, the scope and the extent of the attendance shows that he's beginning to take a walk. Because they say when a leader is no longer leading the people, then he's just taking a stroll in the park.
Yes.
Interesting. Fingers crossed, we'll see how this develops in coming days. On to fuel hike. PDP, People's Democratic Party, has labeled the recent fuel price increase by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited as an attack on Nigerians. The pump price on Tuesday was increased to 855 naira, 918 naira and higher per litre, with the prices varying across the location at NNPC stations across the country. In a statement on Wednesday, PDP National Publicity Secretary Debo Ologunagba described the APC administration as being indifferent and unresponsive to the struggles of millions of Nigerians who can no longer afford their daily necessities. Ologunagba stated, "The People's Democratic Party rejects the punishing increase in the pump price of fuel to over 1,000 naira per litre in various parts of the country, describing it as a brutal assault on the sensibility and well-being of Nigerians by the sensitive and arrogant All Progressive Congress administration. The thoughtless increase in fuel price, especially at this time, is a huge recipe for crisis, as Nigerians cannot bear its worsening effect on the suffocating economic hardship which they currently face under the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led APC administration. The secretive and corrupt administration of the petroleum sector and persistent increase in fuel price under the Tinubu administration without due regard to the well-being of the people is akin to pushing Nigerians to the wall and daring them to do their worst." He added, "The APC administration has consistently shown itself to be anti-people, unconcerned and deaf to the agonies of millions of Nigerians who can no longer afford their daily meals, medications and basic support for families due to the catastrophic high cost of living occasioned by the insensitive and reckless policies of the Tinubu administration." Today, under the Tinubu-led APC administration, over 150 million Nigerians have sunk below the poverty line. Businesses are collapsing daily as Naira now exchange for over 1,600 to a dollar, with over 34% inflation rate and over 40% unemployment rate, which are expected to rise further with the latest draconian increase in the price of fuel. The PDP argued that the current APC government policies offer no hope as major multinational companies continue to lead due to poorly implemented economic strategies. The statement continued, "President Tinubu is the Minister of Petroleum Resources and cannot exonerate his government and officials from the secretive and fraudulent management of the petroleum sector, which is fast pushing our nation's economy to the precipice. Moreover, it is inexplicable that the APC administration continues to increase fuel prices despite the scandalous revelation in the public domain that it is secretly paying a whopping 5.4 trillion naira as fuel subsidy for 2024. The APC government has now become an enabler of a cabal of APC rent seekers who apparently derive pleasure in inflicting pains on Nigerians while hugely benefiting from the proceeds of incessant increase in fuel price to satisfy and fund their luxury appetite and consumption. With the hopeless state of affairs of our nation today, our party wonders what President Tinubu, during his numerous trips abroad, says to his foreign counterparts in nations where leaders prioritize the welfare of their people. Let me start with you, Jackson. What is your take on this story?
Like I mentioned while discussing the other topic, I'm a member of International Security Association Switzerland. We had conference. I was supposed to travel, but I can't meet up for financial reasons. Because I can't travel for an international conference why my family will not be able to feed, why my family will live in darkness, why my children will resume school, I won't be able to pay. So I just put all together. I decided not to go. And these people were asking me, what is happening in Nigeria to our oil, all this and that. I said, well, I don't know. But the only thing is that there is what they call aristocratic system of government. Government by the worst citizen. That's exactly what we are passing through now. And that is the reason why people like us can no longer be proud to be member of APC. You understand? When you look at what is going on, for Obasanjo's 8 years, how many times did he increase fuel from how much to how much? Then Jonathan, then by Yaradua, Jonathan, then Buhari. Buhari was paying subsidy. We see buy fuel, 185 naira. And we know clearly that we are still paying subsidy. Because I was so surprised. Umaru Ajiya is my man. That's the chief financial officer of NNPC. It's like a boss to me. It's like a father to me too. I saw him on radio and I sympathized with him. When he was saying we are, NNPC is owing $6.something billion now. And I asked, on what? On petrol importation. Is it that they import this petrol to the country and started it free to the people? You imported this fuel to the country, you distributed it to petroleum product marketer, what do they call them? And they paid before they even. So where is the issue of oil coming from? That means something is happening. And people like us have called several times, through writing, through interaction, through telephone, to the presidency, that Mele Kyari should be removed from office. Umaru Ajiya should be removed from office. These people have served NNPC either meritoriously or whichever way. But to me, I don't think they have anything to offer again. They should leave the stage. But by the time somebody is doing something wrong, somebody is doing something offensive to the people, and the king of that community is saying is the best to remain there, that means to say it's like that person is protecting his interest. We all know, it's a known fact, that Wale Tinubu runs Oando. It's Tinubu's cousins. Oando has taken over Ajib. Now, it is in the news too that Oando is going to take over all the petrol stations belonging to NNPC globally. You understand? Then what do you expect? And now again, why is it that when Dangote said in the next few days, I will begin to roll out PMS to the market, and these people worriedly, only one night, increase the fuel. And you know that immediately fuel is increased, every other commodity price will be increased. Most of the things are no longer affordable. How many Nigerians today that can afford to eat yam? How many Nigerians today? A lot of people, they just cook beans, cook rice with stew, no protein. They can't afford it. You understand? Transportation. My children are going from home to school. I know what I paid before. I know what I started paying now since on Monday. Everything is becoming unaffordable. When you called me for this program yesterday, I said, are you going to subsidize my fuel?
You know, you asked me if I'll provide for you.
Yes. So what I did now is to call boat to drop me here. So when I'm going, I join Keke because I can't afford to roll out any of my car. I can't afford the fuel. I saw some of my neighbors. I said, why you not drive? They say, no, they can't afford to. And those are the people who can say they are a bit comfortable. What of those people today in this country today? The only product the poor people enjoy is from NNPC is kerosene. Is kerosene affordable again? If you are living as a tenant in a rented apartment, will you go and be cooking with firewood? No. Charcoal is not even affordable too. So to me, I am not sure if anything will be done by the present administration. No way. They will not be able to control it. I'm telling you, when Dangote fuel begin to come, if Dangote come with a very low price, they will frustrate Dangote refinery. I know that. These are sadists. These are people that never meant well for anybody in this country. Because that is the only thing Nigerians are enjoying. Now, there is no electricity. The little place that they will supply electricity, you cannot pay the bill because of the increase. Now, people are in my entire environment. 3 days ago, we had light till 7 o'clock in the night. They see the light. Before, after 2 minutes, you begin to hear power generator. Till they brought the light around 12 in the night. Nobody on generator, including me. I couldn't on my generator. I told my children not to on generator again. It's me now that I go on generator. 15 minutes, 5 minutes to 7 to monitor a program on TV. After that one, another program. Immediately that program end by 9, I switch up my generator. I carry the key to my generator room. It's in my pocket here. That is the situation. So it's getting bad. From next week, go and check the price of tomato again. Go and check the price of protein, meat, fish, and others again. Go and check the price of tomato again. Price of beans, rice again. This thing is going to be spread on all other commodities because they must be transported to this place. Industries are closing down because they could not afford diesel. So the little ones that are running with fuel generator, they are closing down too. Baby saloon are closing down. Then by the time this thing begin to happen as a security expert, I know that we are writing application to more criminality. If we help ourselves, God will help us.
All right. Dr. Nelson, when Lekojo was speaking, you were groaning. You're very sad.
I have been looking at the wordings of the PDP statements, and I doubt if I have better words.
Okay.
They call the government insensitive, completely, totally insensitive. The business of governance is to make life better for the citizens, to improve the lives of the people, to remove clogs in the wheels of progress. And it appears that we are deliberately moving backwards, consistently moving backwards. The logic of governance has failed. You know, and when you say it's an attack on Nigerians, yes, in every sense of the word. How can a government, what is the justification for allowing this? This government came into power when fuel was selling at about, is it 2 something or 3 something? And then suddenly we are now at, I bought yesterday for 1,300. 1 liter of fuel.
I bought them before you said for 1,300 as
good.
well.
Now I wonder, assuming we don't have a drop of oil in this country, what will happen if we are importing fuel? If we are importing oil, we don't have a drop, we are not selling there because there are countries that do not have oil.
Yes.
And in most of those countries, they are buying at a better rate than us. We have fuel, we have oil, we have crude. What is it? What is it? Is it when there was this 10 days protest? You could see that there was a lot of tension in the land. The police was entered into overdrive to mobilize, anticipating violence and so that. But if you look at the participation, I can tell you that maybe it doesn't have up to 5% of Nigerians on the streets. Imagine what will happen if Nigerians get so upset, so angry, so dissatisfied with the system that you have 20, 30, 40%. And you know, the thing we should learn about Nigerians is that we are slow to act.
Yes.
But when it starts, then there will be no stopping. It will be chaos. It will be disaster. Is this government waiting until Nigerians get to that level when they say, damn it, let everything scatter, before they will know they have a responsibility to this country? The government should realize that their responsibility is to the citizens of this country. They have a responsibility to make lives better. What is all this about? Whose interest is this government serving? Those are the questions I keep asking myself. The anguish, the poverty, the frustration. I wonder if Mr. President is still a Nigerian. Whether whether he has a way of actually gauging what people are passing through. What is the justification for this? When will it stop? When will we start getting more reasonable and thinking about the masses? Those are the questions at the back of my mind. At what point do we begin to do what is right? It's not enough for somebody to come out tomorrow and make one funny statement that is as if it is speaking to another country, another set of citizens outside. Whatever policies the government think that they are implementing should have direct bearing. The way you get it is how it impacts the life of the people. Otherwise, every other thing is fancy. And I really don't know where we are going.
Well, I was having a conversation with someone, and the person asked the question, which I'm going to ask you, Dr. Nelson. What exactly was President Bola Tinubu's manifesto, other than Emilokon? Can you remember? Because what we heard and what was being chanted was Emilokon, Emilokon, it's my turn. Now, apart from Emilokon, can you recall what exactly is Renewed Hope agenda? Can you recall the agendas on the Renewed Hope?
The key points of the Renewed Hope agenda. I can't even recall. I wasn't interested in whatever he was saying then.
Okay.
I wasn't interested.
All right, let me ask.
I was paying attention to those I mean. Don't know why we are here.
Let me ask Leko Ojo, because Leko Ojo, then you were a PDP chieftain.
No, so, then APC chieftain.
APC chieftain.
A Baptist. A Baptist.
And a Baptist. So,
one of those people that believe strongly in Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
So you're among those that brought us here.
Yeah, people like us, they should arrange people like us on the main road and flog us.
That is...
Honestly. We deserve to be flogged. Because I was too loud in the media. I was too loud. But now I'm regretting it, and I'm praying to God for forgiveness. And God will forgive me.
Okay, now the question I want to ask is, because you were a core Baptist and an APC chieftain at that point, at that time. Apart from maybe Loko, what was President Bola Tinubu's manifesto that time? What exactly did he promise Nigerians?
He promised Nigerians, after Emilokon, that means it is my turn. He promised Nigeria that cassava, gari, ewa, beans will be eaten. One promise. Then later he said he was going to start from where Buhari stopped.
What does that mean exactly?
Good. That means Buhari scattered the roof of the house, and Bola Tinubu started from there to demolish the entire building. That is exactly. And that's exactly what he's doing now. Honestly. Buhari removed the roof of the building. But Bola Tinubu said he was going to start from there. And immediately he came, he demolished the building from the foundation everywhere scattered. And that is exactly what we are. During Buhari, the highest time I fled Abuja was 45,000 naira. Now it's 170,000. Not business class or economy. The poor people side. 170. I bought a ticket, return ticket 480,000 about 3 weeks ago because of that protest or so. I stopped it. So I want to go now. They are telling me that I'm going to pay 100,000 naira. So I now say, okay, whatever I'm going to do there, I will make call. Before I buy airtime 10,000, I will do it. You understand? If it is possible for me to sell the return ticket now, I will go and sell it. Yes. The hotel I was using in Abuja was 50,000 naira a night. They tell me that now it's 90,000 naira a night. So where you can get a hotel of 50,000 naira a night now, they will tell you, Oga, before you pay, we will off light 6 a.m. Then on it by 8 in the night, or by 12 again. So if you can stay, but when you move around Abuja, you may eventually come back to say, okay, I can bear it. That is it. So Tinubu said it was his turn to do whatever he liked to us. And he started from where Buhari stopped. Buhari de-roofed the building. Tinubu has scattered the building.
Now, in the face of everything that is going on, the concern would be the survival of the masses.
How are the masses going to survive in this? The babies are no longer operate.
And interestingly, like driving to work this morning, the road was so free. I usually drive to
Maybe
work.
It will make our road live longer now.
The road was so free.
Yeah.
And I was like, initially I was like, what's going on? Then it dawned on me, oh, cost of fuel. And interestingly, getting that my car, the reserve lights just blinked, and as it blinked, my heart sank. And in my head, I'm like, 2 days ago, I spent 30,000 naira buying 20 liters of fuel for my generator. Now that fuel has gone half. I am already having high blood pressure, panic attack, just thinking about refueling my gen, and now my car is showing me. Now when you look at it, the question would be, do the maths. You have to generate power. The average Nigerian generates power for himself, generates power for his business, generates power for his house, for anything he or she wants to do.
If you must water,
you must generate. Provide your water for yourself. Electricity tariff.
Yes.
The 250% increment in the tariff. Now we don't even want to look into that, because when you look at what the Constitution has provided for the power sector to, if there has to be a town hall meeting, that was never held. But we don't want to look into that as well. The constitutional infractions going up and down by these institutions. But what I'm looking at is when it trickles down to the everyday Nigerians, it means that the 70,000 naira minimum wage. Let's look at it critically, because to fuel my tank in my car is above the minimum wage, and it will not carry me for half the month, because the quality of fuel evaporates. It won't even carry you for 1 week. So what is the way forward? I think at this, what is the way forward? Because the truth remains that Nigerians develop themselves.
Now, for me, I think that the government is toying with a time bomb.
Okay.
Honestly,
they are toying with a time bomb. It has been proven in the laboratory, that a rat, this house rat, in a caged room, and start chasing the rat, it will start running around. It will start running. It's running away from you. But there's a way you chase the rat up to, even a rat. It gets to where it can no longer run again. It will turn and jump back at you.
Yes.
Go try it now, you will see it. That is a rat. Now, human beings have a lot more capacity to fight. And there's a way you push people, frustrate people, you get to a level where they will find ways of fighting you back. It is not just to think that fight is only when people come out on the street and begin to fight and destroy. It means that you're not thinking The first thing is that they can also find ways of undermining the system in several ways. Criminality will rise, for instance. And when people are afraid of, already there's a high level of insecurity in the country as we speak. People cannot go to farms. Now, if you get to a level where people cannot even go out of their houses, they cannot pay transport to go do business, criminality rises. At that level, what are you governing? There will be total chaos, total collapse. Now, nobody should get up and tell me that I'm being an advocate, because that is a logical consequence. We are seeing it on the streets. It's getting worse and worse. So you cannot even begin to predict what the possible outcomes can be. The level of frustration is palpable. It's too much. This government, the same courage that Mr. President used in getting on the podium on the 29th of May last year, without consulting Nigerians, without thinking of alternatives, and they all pulled out the fuel subsidy, which we are aware brought back through the back door. Let him rise in the same courage and take decisions for the good of this country. At his age and experience, he should be thinking in terms of legacy. Should be thinking about how Nigerians will remember. Yes. A day will come too, when like Buhari, he will become an ex-president. Even if some magic happens and he stays 8 years, that day will still come. Yes. What will Nigerians feel when they see his children, or hear Tinubu, or see his grandchildren? What will be the attitude of Nigerians? That should be the way you should be thinking at this point in time.
You're talking about children, Dr. Nelson, you are an educator. Now that brings me, because in all this crisis going on, nobody is looking at how it's going to affect the education of the Nigerian child and how it's even going to affect the educational sector. The schools also run on par. You agree with me?
Yes.
So as it stands now, things are so hard that the number of out-of-school children currently is on the high. And with this increment, schools will naturally increase their fees because they have to. They are not a charity organization. Yes. They have to stay in business, and they will also have to increase the cost of transportation, the school bus system, picking children off, and taking them to school and bringing them back home. These things will naturally increase. Parents at some point will be training their children. Now, yes, at the end of the day, what happens? What ordinarily should be the right of every Nigerian education, the right to a secure future, now becomes a luxury. Are we coming? Because recently I heard in the news that I think it's that University of Ibadan also, one of these universities in the southwest, their school fees has been increased. A federal university has been increased to almost $500,000. For a federal university. Now, is it not concerning? $500,000. How much are the parents earning? How much are they surviving on? Are we coming to a point where what should be a right to the Nigerian child now becomes a luxury?
Yes, we are coming to that point. This is part of what ASU has been fighting over the years. In fact, Nigerians did not understand ASU. For a long time, ASU stood this ground to fight for the system, to fight for government investment in education. And each time that fight leads to a level where there is industrial harmony and on ASU members. And at that point, if you check out the records of our conflict, our fights, even ASU members' welfare was always down the ladder. It was always about the infrastructure, about the system and all that. Until that began to affect ASU. When even members began to say, no, you should begin to prioritize the welfare and interest of your members, because the people we are fighting for do not seem to care. Because we are aware that one of the things that enables dictatorship, enables the collapse of democracy, is an uneducated citizenry. When you have citizens that do not know their right from their left, cannot understand when they are being fleeced, when government is ruling in the interest of a small cabal and is not responsible to the interest of the masses, then you are entering dictatorship. It's easier to recycle and maintain dictatorship. If you have an informed populace, a well-educated populace, it is more difficult to manipulate them. It is more difficult to lie to them. People are aware, they can make informed choices, and they can demand accountability at different levels. ASU understood this and was fighting for that. Now, outside those who are not able to get to school because their parents cannot afford it, among those who are in school, there is also a serious problem. Now, in our own time in school, you don't hear about lecture-free days. Students are in school Monday to Friday. If there are no classes, they are reading. They're always around. If you fix emergency classes, they are there. Now, students are now designing special days, 1 or 2 days in the week, that they say is their own lecture-free day. That lecturers, if you put your lecture days on those days, you will have less than 20-30% attendance. Students who are not available to attend. And because they are trying also to save their transportation, save their moving around and coming to school. Now, you find that you're teaching courses in the university and students cannot afford basic books to read. They want to rely on the lecturer to do all the research, come to class, teach them, dictate notes. And when you cannot dictate those notes, they are looking at you like this. Go and encourage them, go and read X, Y, Z, come back the next class. What have you read? They don't. So what quality of education of students are we going to be producing going forward? And if there are elements of sustainability in development that we carry one generation to the next, one of the core areas is education. That is the medium of transmitting knowledge, transmitting know-how, transmitting everything that we have achieved in one generation to the next. And that is another medium that you use in creating transgenerational escape from poverty. If people are not educated, a whole lot is going wrong in the system. So if it's happening in the educational sector, what about the other sectors? A lot of sectors have practically collapsed in the country. That's why we are depending, almost everything is imported. And look at the exchange value of the naira to the dollar. We are becoming a country under siege, and it is unpalatable.
Well, now, talking about other sectors, very quickly, Jackson, before we round up for the show, talking about other sectors. Now, we are looking at dollar volatility, right, in the market. And now we are now dealing with the high cost of fuel. Now, when you marry this together, what does it portend for small, medium enterprises?
It's total collapse.
Now, at the end of the day, what happens to IGR?
IGR.
Because if this SMEs are collapsing,
where do you getting the IGR? Where is it coming from? It's from production, small scale and big these industries. But when they are no longer operating, where is the IGR coming from?
Multinational companies are closing
yes,
down.
And that is the reason why tax will now come. Though a Kara woman on the main road, they will tax her. They will enter barbing saloon to tax the poor barbing saloon attendant. You understand? So at the end of the day, when a barber will buy fuel, I run a fish farm. Before, I will buy fuel of 3,000 naira for a week. But now, I'm buying fuel of 37,000 naira for a week.
How much will be a fish now?
A time is coming, fish will no longer be affordable. So when people do not buy your fish, then you stop producing. You understand? A bag of feed, local feed before, 4,000 naira, now is 17,000 naira. Foreign feed that was 10,000 naira before, now 37, 40, 50. You understand? So when you, after fueling, buy feed, pay workers, at the end of the day, when you are selling your fish, you now discover that you have invested over 5 million, you sold fish of 4 million. So you do not even break even. That means you did not even realize your capital, not to talk of profit. A time is coming, some companies will no longer pay because they want to justify the input of their workers. They now discover that when you are giving your worker 100,000 naira, you now discover that 100,000 naira can only value like 10,000 naira before. So what happens?
Purchasing power.
That is it. So, just like doctor has said, and I suggested before on another platform, let Tinubu first of all suspend subsidy, if subsidy is truly there.
But then, from the information,
he
they are still paying.
Suspended.
But
whatever he needs to do.
Let me to say return the subsidy.
Her subsidy was subsidy. Anyway, that's another
conversation. So that maybe that time, what is the problem between them and Dangote? They were expecting Dangote, that if Dangote begin to produce the importation from Malta and some other African, other countries, then maybe Dangote will not allow those ones to meet up the market here. And that was the reason why they wanted to frustrate Dangote. Dangote say, okay, come and buy the refinery.
But I thought that even an NPC has investment in Dangote. And I know there are a lot of the political class too. Many of them also have investment.
They told us 20% investment. But when Dangote was angry, Dangote said it's a lie. They pay for only 7%.
Oh.
Openly. And he said some of them owns the refinery in Malta. So instead of to give him crude, now they started giving him crude in naira. And before he rolled out his own, they jack up the price.
All right. All right. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, there are a lot of we are out of time, because I wanted to look at the reduction of purchasing power with respect to not being able to buy the major things we need for our feeding, nutrition for children, and even our nursing mothers, and the consequences on the health sector in coming days. But then it is what it is, and we are out of time. We have to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for coming on Open Conversation, Jackson.
It will be my pleasure.
And it will get better, Jackson.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nelson, for coming. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
And we are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ogu Laurentia. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.
And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about who can come and salvage us from where we are.
From the line